hope you guys had fun basking in the glory of being 1-0 to start the NFL season, but now we're on to week 2. Whole new matchup, whole new ball game this week against the Seattle Seahawks. Coming up on today's show, I'm going to be breaking down the week 2 preview to make sure the Patriots are 2-0 heading into week 3. But before we jump into that, I have one quick favor to ask you guys here, because last time we did our preview matchup video, well, we got under 200 likes. I want to blow that out of the water. There were a lot of doubters out there that said, Allie, we're not going to win. I may have been one of those doubters, but they proved me wrong. If you want the Patriots to beat the Seahawks in week 2, like this video. What's going on, Patriots Nation? Welcome into Patriots Day by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Allie Barefoot, and like I said, week 2 is around the corner, but this time in Foxborough, the home opener against the Seattle Seahawks. I'm super excited for this matchup, a lot more excited than I was going into week 1, because I was one of those doubters. I didn't think they were going to beat the Bengals. I was very surprised by how good the offense looked, not so much by the defense, we knew that, but with a new week comes a big matchup, and I have 5 keys to victory to make sure the Patriots prove people wrong once more. And I'm talking about all the sports books out there. The Bengals were 8.5 favorites in week 1. We crushed that. Now the Seahawks are still favorites, but this time the spread is a little bit smaller. 3.5 favorites for Seattle. They also just won their matchup against the Broncos by 6, 26-20 in week 1. We won 16-10 in week 1. So I just want to prove everybody wrong. In order to do that, I have 5 things the Patriots must do to stay 2-0. All right, number 1, I had number 1 last week as Rhamondre Stevenson. Now I have number 1 key to victory this week, Rhamondre Stevenson. He is the key to the Patriots offense flowing as smoothly as it is. He absolutely dominated on the ground in week 1 against the Bengals. And I know, the Bengals don't have the best run defense in the NFL. I do not care. 120 yards on 25 carries is still impressive to me. On top of that, the first touchdown that he did score was the first one for the Patriots in the 2024 NFL season. He averaged almost 5 yards a carry. The man was falling forward every opportunity that he could. A stat that also really stuck out to me is that out of the 120 yards that he picked up as a running back, 118 yards came after contact. It takes multiple defenders to bring this bowling ball down. In football, in all my time that I've been watching it, bruising backs are one of my favorite. And watching Rhamondre Stevenson go to work on this ground and pound type of offense, it allowed Jacoby Brissett to have a more impressive game, I should say. Not that I doubted Jacoby Brissett, but I knew he was a good quarterback, not a great, but how he did in week 1, it made me a lot more excited to watch in week 2. And that goes to number 2, the key to victory to beat the Seahawks is turnover-free football. Jacoby Brissett was a huge part of that. And I do think that the multiple carries, 25 to be exact for Rhamondre Stevenson, helped Jacoby Brissett not have as much on his plate. And in week 1, we saw 0 turnovers from the New England Patriots. No interceptions, no fumbles, and the Patriots defense even just topped it and be like, you know what? Our offense is playing such great turnover-free football. Let's force it back in their hands. The defense picked up 2 forced fumbles against the Cincinnati Bengals. So in terms of turnovers, they were forcing them and not dishing them, and that's what you need. You need to be almost perfect every single game. But notice how I said almost. The Bengals had 2 penalties in week 1. The Patriots had 5 penalties. Actually, the kickoff was where the first penalty happened. And then as the game went on, you had a little false start there from Verdarian Lowe. You had an offsides from Josh Uche. So those things are going to happen, and I'm fully aware of that. But 5 penalties for 40 yards on an offense like the Bengals that couldn't get anything going in the first half. Then they had this incredible 70-yard drive in the second half that did line up their first touchdown. You need to make sure you're cleaning up the penalties, and if you tag that along with still 0 turnovers, the Patriots offense can be very good. So leading into week 2, my question to ask you guys here before I break down the next 3 keys to victory is, who do you guys got? I hope I see a ton of NEs in the comment section down below. Do you have the New England Patriots or do you have the Seattle Seahawks in week 2? Type SEA if you guys are taking Seattle in this matchup. And if you guys want to go to the game as well, let me Whoa. Hold up. Let me tell you guys real quick about our sponsor, Game Time, here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. Game Time is how you guys need to be getting your tickets to go watch the home opener for the New England Patriots. They do play the Seattle Seahawks, and this time it's going to be in Foxborough. So if you guys want to get the lowest price guaranteed, you want to make sure your seats look incredible because you actually get to have a 3D view of your seats before you buy. And if you haven't decided if you want to go just yet, because we know there's a lot of events going on in Boston, they will have a great last-minute ticket deal, almost guaranteed. And I do think that the Patriots are definitely worth seeing in person. It's been a while. I know last season was not worth it with Mac Jones to spend that money on going to a Patriots game, but now with Game Time and with the Patriots offense putting up some points now, it's worth it because you know you're going to get the lowest price guaranteed. It's a much better deal, and I'm telling you, you guys need to have this app on your phone right now, especially since they have a new feature called Game Time Picks. That makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. They filter out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets with Game Time Picks. Plus, you know you're going to have your seats views before you buy, lowest price guaranteed, and event cancellation protection. So if you guys want to go ahead and get started, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. That's going to get you guys $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Game time is 1 p.m. Eastern on Sunday for the Patriots, and one of my favorite aspects of the game last week was the tight ends. We knew that there were several receivers that Jacoby Brissett was going to be able to showcase. A lot different from last year with Mac Jones. But I like how they tied in the tight ends as well, even having some tight end stacks there on the right and left side. And we got to see a little bit of Austin Hooper and the way that he can block as well when he's not being the receiver. We knew Hunter Henry. We know what he can do. But Hooper actually nearly doubled Hunter Henry's yards in week 1. 2 receptions each, 31 yards for Hooper, 18 yards for Henry, 4 targets for Hooper, and he averaged 15 and a half yards per catch. And that is really important because both of Hooper's catches were actually to move the chains. They were both first downs on third down scenarios. So having that option and maybe throwing the defense off a little bit, not having Hunter Henry be the end-all be-all on third downs was huge for Jacoby Brissett, for Gerard Mayo, because last year you really didn't have that many options, so defenses could kind of figure out. And with how shitty Mac Jones was, you kind of knew he probably wasn't going to convert that third down anyways. Now with Jacoby Brissett, you've got 4 different receivers you guys can use and 2 good tight ends. We haven't even seen Jaheim Bell yet. Keep using it, keep moving the chains, and keep stacking those tight ends. But I got to talk about the Seahawks real quick, right? Because they're who we're playing. The number one goal that I have for the Patriots to take down the Seattle Seahawks offense is to stop it on the ground. Do not allow them to have over 100 yards rushing. Most of the time, when they do end up having 100 yards rushing, well, they're going to pretty much end the game. That's just kind of how football goes. But last season, in all 8 losses, every single one of them in their 2023 season, they rushed for under 100 yards. Kenneth Walker, we know he's probably on your fantasy team. He knows how to push that ball upfield. But the way the Patriots defense has been working, it's been really stuffing the trenches, rolling off your blocks, and finding the pressure on the quarterback, or whether it's going to be a handoff in the I formation, they're there pretty quick. They held the Bengals to 70 rushing yards in week 1. The Seahawks had over 100 rushing yards in week 1 versus the Broncos. Probably a good favor to help them win. If you keep having your defensive ends and Daniel Ekuale and Keon White stuffing those trenches and then adding the Jawan Bentley and the Jelani Tavai and the linebackers, putting that blitz on there, forcing the pressure on Geno Smith and Kenneth Walker, it's going to be hard to get any movement on the ground, but it's got to be a full defensive effort. And I know you guys love the Patriots defense. I loved them last year, top 10 in the NFL, and I think they could honestly go higher this year just from what I've seen in week 1. I may be shooting for the stars, but Matthew Judon, the Patriots defense still looks good. Loving the Patriots defense so far, like this video. I mean, I'm talking about from Keon White to Kyle Duggar. They were headhunting in week 1, and I want to see it again against Seattle. And last but not least, back on the offensive side, you got to protect Jacoby Brissett. They were bringing the heat. The Seattle defense was bringing the heat on the Denver Broncos last week. And I would like to see Jacoby Brissett, see how he does in pressure, but I don't need him to take any more hits. We saw him in week 3 take a big hit, go down, didn't return. I don't want to see that. And what Seattle did versus the Broncos was 2 sacks for 6 yards. Okay, not a huge loss of yards, but 2 sacks on top of 9 quarterback hits. I can do math. That means 11 times this man got hit in a ball game. That probably wasn't an easy hit. And then, not saying it's correlating, but adding on 2 interceptions. Bo Nix, he's a rookie. It was a lot to unpack there. But with Jacoby Brissett having turnover-free football, goes all the way back to victory, key to victory number 2. It starts with protecting Jacoby Brissett. The less he can get hit, because he already got hit 7 times in week 1 from the Bengals defense. You got to minimize the quarterback hits at least, and that's going to be on Chuck Okorafor, and that's going to be on Verdarian Lowe, whoever's going to be at the left tackle starting this week for the Patriots. My last thing here for you guys before you head on out. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much. But name your keys to victory for week 2 if you want the New England Patriots to go on ahead and continue to be undefeated.